The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with quiet conversations. Representatives from dozens of alien worlds sat in their assigned seats waiting for the meeting to begin. The hall was massive, with walls that curved up to a dome ceiling covered in stars. Each species had their own section, designed for their unique body types and breathing needs. Hyun sat in the human section with his aide Minji beside him. He wore a simple black suit that looked plain compared to the colorful robes and metal armor worn by other ambassadors. His face showed no emotion as he watched the other representatives talk among themselves. Many of them pointed at the human section and whispered to each other. "They are all talking about us," Minji said quietly in Korean. She held a datapad in her hands and kept taking notes about everything she saw. "Let them talk," Hyun replied in the same language. "Words are just wind unless backed by facts." A loud chime echoed through the hall. All conversations stopped as Chairman Vorthak rose from his seat at the center of the room. The Centaurian was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. His voice carried easily through the hall without any electronic help. "Council members, we gather today to review the classification of species 7834, known as humans from the planet Earth," Vorthak announced. "This review was requested by multiple member worlds who believe our current classification is too high." Hyun kept his face calm, but Minji saw his hands tighten slightly on the armrests of his chair. The current classification of emerging threat had taken Earth 3 years to earn after first contact. It meant other species had to treat humans with respect and caution. Councillor Keyleth from Arcturus stood up. The reptilian alien scales changed from green to red as she spoke. "Chairman Vorthak, the Arcturian delegation has studied human activities for the past 2 years. We see no evidence that they pose any real threat to galactic order." Other representatives nodded in agreement. A creature that looked like a walking tree creaked as it spoke. "The Sylvani concur. Humans have barely left their own star system. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. Their military numbers are small." "The Zephyrians agree," called out another voice. "They have shown no aggressive expansion, no advanced weapons, no significant space fleet. We suggest downgrading them to minor nuisance classification." Hyun watched as more and more species voiced their support for the downgrade. A minor nuisance classification would mean Earth would lose most of its trading rights, diplomatic protections, and access to galactic technology exchanges. It would also mean other species could attack or invade human space with minimal consequences from the Council. Chairman Vorthak looked directly at Hyun. "Ambassador Hyun, does Earth wish to present any evidence against this proposed downgrade?" Hyun stood slowly. The hall became very quiet. He walked to the center speaking area with calm, measured steps. When he reached the podium, he looked around at all the alien faces staring at him. "Honored council members," he began in clear, simple galactic standard language. "Earth accepts whatever classification this council deems appropriate. We are a young species still learning our place among the stars." Murmurs of surprise rippled through the hall. Many had expected humans to argue against the downgrade or present evidence of their capabilities. "We understand that our technology appears primitive to your advanced civilizations," Hyun continued. "We know our military seems small and our expansion limited. These observations are accurate based on what you can see." Councillor Keyleth's scales shifted to orange, showing confusion. "Then you accept the downgrade to minor nuisance status?" "We accept whatever decision this council makes," Hyun replied with a small bow. "Earth has always respected the wisdom of the Galactic Council." Chairman Vorthak seemed pleased by this response. "Very well. Let us vote. All in favor of downgrading species 7834 to minor nuisance classification." Hands, claws, tentacles, and other appendages rose throughout the hall. Hyun counted them carefully, memorizing which species voted for the downgrade. Only 3 delegations did not vote in favor. "The motion passes," Vorthak announced. "Earth is hereby downgraded to minor nuisance classification, effective immediately. This means reduced monitoring protocols, limited trading rights, and minimal diplomatic protection." Hyun bowed again. "Earth thanks the Council for their time and consideration." As the meeting ended and representatives began leaving, many aliens gave Hyun looks of pity or contempt. A few nodded respectfully at what they saw as his graceful acceptance of defeat. Minji packed up her data pad and followed Hyun toward the exit. Once they were in the corridor outside the main hall, she spoke quietly. "Sir, they just stripped away most of our rights. How can you be so calm about this?" Hyun smiled for the first time that day. It was not a happy smile, but one that held secrets. Minji, do you remember what I taught you about military strategy during my army days? You said the best way to win a fight is to make your enemy think they have already won, she replied. Exactly. And what did I always say about being underestimated? Minji thought for a moment, then her eyes widened with understanding. You said it was the greatest gift an enemy could give you. The council just gave us the greatest gift possible, Hyun said as they walked toward their transport. They stopped watching us carefully. They reduced their monitoring. They think we are weak and harmless. But sir, we really are limited to our solar system. Our technology really is behind theirs. Our military really is small. Hyun stopped walking and turned to face her. Minji, what you say is true about what they can see. But tell me, what is the most dangerous enemy? The one who attacks with obvious force, or the one who wins before the battle even begins? The one who wins before the battle begins, she answered slowly. The council members who voted for our downgrade today just gave us exactly what we needed, Hyun said. Freedom to operate without them watching our every move. They think they know everything about humans because they have observed our public activities for 2 years. What do you mean, sir? I mean that the greatest human strength has always been our ability to adapt and learn. While they were watching our public space program and counting our visible warships, what do you think our scientists and military strategists were really doing? Minji began to understand. Learning about them? Learning everything about them, Hyun confirmed. Every species that voted today just told us they consider us harmless. They will lower their guard around us. They will continue to share technology and information because they think we are too primitive to be a real threat. They reached their transport, a small ship that looked old and simple compared to the sleek vessels used by other species. As they boarded, Hyun continued speaking. The council made a critical error today, Minji. They assumed that because we appear weak, we actually are weak. They assumed that because we seem limited, we are actually limited. They forgot the most important rule of intelligence gathering. What rule, sir? Never assume your enemy is as stupid as they appear to be. Hyun sat in the pilot's seat and began starting the ship's engines. The council tried to downgrade Earth today. They think they succeeded, but they actually just gave us the perfect cover to show them what humans are really capable of. As their transport left the station, Minji looked back at the massive council complex. Sir, what happens now? Now we go home and make some reports to people who have been waiting to hear how this meeting went, Hyun said. People who will be very pleased to know that the council has decided to stop watching us so carefully. What people, sir? Hyun's smile grew wider. People who have been very busy while I was sitting in council meetings for the past 2 years. People who understood that the best way to gather intelligence on your potential enemies is to make them think you are not worth worrying about. The transport jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading toward Earth. But it was not heading home to a primitive world with limited technology and a small military. It was heading home to a planet that had spent 2 years preparing for exactly this moment. The council had tried to downgrade Earth. They thought they had succeeded. Soon they would learn just how wrong they had been. 3 months had passed since the council meeting. Captain Do-hyun stood on the bridge of his command ship, watching through the main viewing screen as the final components of humanity's most ambitious project were put into place. The massive structure floating in space looked like a giant metal flower with dozens of petals made from gleaming metal and crystal arrays. Final calibration complete. Captain, reported Engineer Jin-woo from his console. The quantum communication array is ready for full activation. Do-hyun nodded. The array was officially called a Deep Space Research Station in all public records. The council monitoring systems that still watched Earth would see it as another example of primitive human technology, trying to study distant stars. They had no idea what it really was. Dr. Soman, are all remote stations ready to receive? Do-hyun asked. Dr. Soman looked up from her complex control panel. Her face showed excitement barely held in check. All 47 remote stations are standing by, Captain. This will be the first time we have connected them all into a single network. Do-hyun felt a moment of pride. 47 stations. The council thought humans had barely left their solar system, but 47 human outposts were hidden throughout the outer rim of the galaxy. Some were built inside asteroids, others were disguised as space debris. A few were even hidden inside the hulks of old alien ships that had been abandoned centuries ago. Commander Yoonji, what is the status of our observation posts? Do-hyun asked. Commander Yoonji smiled. All active and undetected, sir. We have eyes and ears on 17 major alien worlds and 12 important space stations. The Council's decision to reduce monitoring protocols has made our job much easier. Any problems with our people in the field? None, sir. Our agents report that alien security has become much more relaxed around humans. Most aliens now treat our people as harmless curiosities rather than potential threats. Do-hyun turned back to Dr. So-min. Doctor, begin the connection sequence. Dr. So-min's fingers flew over her controls. On screens throughout the bridge, images began appearing from remote stations scattered across the galaxy. Each screen showed a different view: alien cities, spaceports, military installations, research facilities. Connection established with Station Alpha 7, reported Jinwoo. They confirm receiving all data packets. Station Beta 12 is online, called out another technician. Full quantum entanglement achieved. One by one, all 47 stations connected to the network. For the first time, humanity had instant communication across the entire galaxy. More importantly, they had real-time intelligence gathering from dozens of alien worlds. Dr. Soman, show me what we have collected, Do-hyun ordered. The main screen changed to display a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Green dots showed human positions. Red dots showed alien military installations. Blue dots showed major population centers. Yellow dots showed important industrial sites. This is incredible, breathed Engineer Jinwoo. We have mapped their entire infrastructure. That is only the beginning, Dr. Soman said with satisfaction. Watch this. She touched another control and the display changed. Now it showed communication networks, trade routes, and resource flows between different alien worlds. We have been recording and analyzing all alien communications in our range, she explained. Our quantum computers have broken most of their encryption systems. We know what they are saying to each other. Commander Yunja brought up another display. We also know what they are not saying to each other. Look at this analysis of political tensions between different species. The screen showed a web of relationships between alien governments. Green lines showed alliances. Red lines showed conflicts. Yellow lines showed unstable relationships that could change quickly. The Centaurians and the Arcturians are having a secret dispute over mining rights in the Vega system, Yunjo explained. The Zephyrians are worried about economic competition from the Sylvani. The Council knows about some of these tensions, but not all of them. Do-hyun studied the information carefully. What about their military capabilities? Dr. Soman switched to another display. We have detailed assessments of every major alien military force. Ship numbers, weapon specifications, defensive capabilities, supply lines, and operational doctrines. How detailed? Do-hyun asked. We know how many ships each species has, where they keep them, how long they can operate away from base, and what their standard battle tactics are. She replied. We also know about their classified weapons projects and experimental technologies. Engineer Jinwoo looked amazed. How did we gather all this information without them noticing? Commander Yunja answered. The same way humans have always gathered intelligence, Jinwoo. We watched, we listened, and we learned. But most importantly, we made sure our enemies did not think we were worth watching in return. She brought up images from different human agents in the field. Agent Taehyun has been operating on the Centaurian homeworld for 18 months. Officially, he is a simple trader selling primitive earth art and music. Actually, he has mapped their entire planetary defense network. The screen showed detailed plans of military bases, shield generators, and weapon platforms around the Centaurian capital world. Agent Naeon has been working as a translator at the Arcturian Diplomatic Center, Yunja continued. She has access to classified communications between Arcturian colonies and their home government. How do they avoid detection? Do-hyun asked. By being exactly what the aliens expect humans to be, Yunja explained. Curious, friendly, and harmless. Taehyun really does sell earth art. Naeon really is a good translator. They just also happen to be very good at observing and remembering everything they see and hear. Dr. Soman pulled up another set of data. We have also been conducting detailed analysis of alien technology samples. Every time another species has given us gifts or trade samples, we have completely reverse engineered them. What have we learned? Do-hyun asked. That most alien technology is actually less advanced than ours in key areas, she replied. They have had faster than light travel longer than us, so their ships are better. But their computers are slower. Their material science is behind ours. Their weapons are more powerful but less accurate. Engineer Jinwoo frowned. If our technology is better, why do we hide it? Because technology alone does not win wars, Do-hyun explained. Information wins wars. The aliens think they are superior to us because their ships are faster and their weapons are bigger. They do not realize that we can hack their computers, predict their tactics, and exploit their weaknesses. Commander Yunja nodded in agreement. Every species in the Council has weaknesses. The Centaurians are arrogant and make predictable tactical mistakes. The Arcturians rely too heavily on automated systems that can be hacked. The Zephyrians have supply chain vulnerabilities that could cripple their military in weeks. And they have told us about these weaknesses themselves, Dr. Samin added. Not intentionally, but by treating us as harmless primitives who could never threaten them. They speak freely around our agents. They show off their technology. They explain their strategies because they think we are too stupid to understand the implications. Do-hyun looked at the massive display of information surrounding them.
Data from 47 hidden stations.
Intelligence from dozens of human agents. Complete analysis of alien capabilities and weaknesses. All of this had been gathered while the aliens thought humans were just a minor nuisance. Dr. Somin, what is our current assessment of human capabilities compared to any single alien species? He asked. She consulted her displays. In a direct military confrontation, most alien species would still have advantages in terms of ship numbers and firepower. But if we used our intelligence advantages and technological superiority in the right areas, we could defeat any single species within 6 months. What about the entire council working together? That would be more difficult, she admitted. But we have identified ways to turn them against each other. Their existing tensions and conflicts could be exploited. A direct confrontation might not even be necessary. Engineer Jinwoo still looked confused. I understand that we have gathered good intelligence, but how does this change our situation? The council still thinks we are weak. We still have the minor nuisance classification. Do-hyun smiled. Jinwoo, you are thinking about this wrong. The classification is not our problem. The classification is our solution. How do you mean, sir? The council downgraded us because they thought we were harmless, Do-hyun explained. They stopped watching us carefully. They gave us freedom to operate. Now we know everything about them, and they know almost nothing about us. Commander Yunja brought up one final display. It showed alien monitoring stations and surveillance networks throughout the galaxy. Most of them were focused on other alien species. Very few were watching human activities. The aliens are so busy watching each other for threats that they have forgotten to watch us, she said. They think the greatest danger comes from other advanced species with big militaries and obvious weapons. They never considered that the greatest danger might come from a species that appears weak but is actually just very good at gathering information. Dr. Somin added. Do-hyun nodded with satisfaction. The council tried to downgrade Earth 3 months ago. They thought they were reducing our status and importance. Actually, they gave us exactly what we needed to become. Agent Tae-hyun walked through the busy marketplace on Centauri Prime, carrying a bag of Earth artwork and musical instruments. To anyone watching, he looked like a simple human trader trying to make a living by selling exotic items from his primitive homeworld. He moved slowly, stopping often to admire the tall blue buildings and advanced technology around him. Excuse me, honored sir, he said in broken Centaurian to a passing alien. Where might humble human find permission office for trade license renewal? The Centaurian looked down at him with the mixture of pity and amusement that most aliens showed toward humans these days. 3 blocks north, primitive. Try not to get lost. Tae-hyun bowed gratefully and shuffled away in the direction indicated. Once he was out of sight, he allowed himself a small smile. The permission office was actually the central licensing bureau that maintained records on all off-world traders. More importantly, it was located in the same building complex as the Planetary Defense Coordination Center. He had been playing the role of a bumbling human trader for 18 months now. His Centaurian language skills were actually perfect, but he deliberately made small mistakes to maintain his cover. He walked slowly and acted confused to encourage others to underestimate him. Most aliens were so convinced of human inferiority that they never looked past his performance. In the licensing bureau, Tae-hyun waited in line behind several other alien traders. When his turn came, he approached the desk with nervous excitement. Honored official, he said with a bow. Humble human seeks renewal of trade license for artistic goods from Earth. The Centaurian clerk barely looked at him. Standard renewal. 50 credits. Next window for payment. Most grateful, honored official, Taehyun replied. Might humble human ask question about security procedures? Yesterday, enforcement officers examined trade goods very carefully. Human wishes to ensure full compliance with regulations. The clerk sighed with irritation. New security protocols were implemented last week, due to increased tensions with the Arcturians. All off-world traders are subject to random inspections. Most understanding, Taehyun said. Human has heard rumors of disagreements between Great Centaurian people and Arcturians. Is this cause for concern? Nothing that concerns primitive species like yours, the clerk replied dismissively. Just routine diplomatic matters regarding resource allocation in outer systems. Taehyun nodded eagerly. Of course, honored official knows best. Human brain too simple to understand such complex matters. After completing his license renewal, Taehyun made his way to a small cafe near the government complex. This was one of several locations where he regularly observed the daily routines of Centaurian officials. He ordered a cup of local beverage and sat at a table with a clear view of the building exits. His communication device, disguised as a primitive Earth music player, vibrated softly. He put on the earphones and pretended to listen to music while actually receiving a coded message from analyst Naeun. Taehyun, priority intelligence request, came Naeun's voice through the encrypted channel. We need verification of Centaurian military readiness levels. Recent communications suggest they may be preparing defensive positions. Taehyun touched the device once to acknowledge the message. He had already observed increased activity around the Planetary Defense Center, but he needed specific confirmation. That evening, Taehyun attended a social gathering at the Centaurian Cultural Center. These events were open to off-world visitors as part of the planet's diplomatic outreach program. He brought some Earth music and art to share, playing his role as an eager cultural ambassador. Friend Taehyun called out Zorvak, a mid-level government administrator who had become friendly with the human trader over the past months. What new primitive curiosities do you bring us tonight? Honored friend Zorvak, Taehyun replied with enthusiasm. I bring new music from Earth classical tradition. Very simple compared to advanced Centaurian compositions, but perhaps amusing. He played several pieces on a small electronic keyboard, deliberately making minor mistakes to maintain his cover as a talented but primitive musician. The Centaurians listened with polite condescension. Charming in its simplicity, Zorvak commented. Your species shows promise despite its current limitations. Most kind words, honored friend, Taehyun said. Human hopes someday to learn from great Centaurian wisdom. Perhaps honored friend could explain how your people maintain such perfect security. Yesterday humans saw many impressive military exercises. Zorvak puffed up with pride. Our defense forces are the finest in the galaxy. We have been conducting enhanced readiness drills due to increased tensions with certain other council species. Most impressive, Taehyun said with wide-eyed admiration. Surely no force in galaxy could threaten mighty Centaurian defenses. Indeed, Zorvak agreed. Our planetary shield network can deflect any known weapon. Our orbital defense platforms can destroy entire fleets. Our ground-based installations are impenetrable. Other Centaurians joined the conversation, each eager to boast about their military superiority. Taehyun listened carefully while continuing to play simple Earth melodies, his expression showing nothing but childlike wonder at their advanced technology. Most amazing, he said when they finished explaining their defensive capabilities. Human mind cannot truly comprehend such advanced systems. Perhaps honored friends could show curious humans some of these marvels. Only from safe distance, of course. The Centaurians laughed at his innocent request. Perhaps we could arrange a public tour, Zorvak said indulgently. The basic systems are not classified, and it might help your primitive species understand the level of protection that council membership provides. 3 days later, Taehyun joined a small group of off-world visitors on a guided tour of several defense installations. The tour guide, a junior military officer, was clearly proud of the opportunity to show off Centaurian technology to impressed aliens. This is our primary shield generator facility, the officer explained, as they stood on an observation platform. The energy field extends throughout the entire orbital zone, providing complete protection against projectile weapons and energy attacks. Taehyun took pictures with his simple Earth camera, asking innocent questions about how the impressive technology worked. The officer was happy to provide basic explanations, never suspecting that the humble human was analyzing structural weaknesses and calculating power requirements. Most wondrous, Taehyun said, taking careful note of the cooling systems and power distribution networks. How does such advanced system handle maintenance and repairs? Automated systems perform most routine maintenance, the officer replied proudly. Manual intervention is rarely required. That evening, Taehyun transmitted detailed reports back to Earth through his quantum communication device. His observations were added to the growing database of alien military capabilities and weaknesses that analyst Neon was compiling. Similar reports were coming in from human agents throughout the galaxy. Specialist Minyuk had infiltrated a Zephyrian research facility and was providing detailed analysis of their experimental weapons programs. Operative Jiwon had gained access to Arcturian diplomatic communications and was reporting on their strategic planning. The network of human intelligence operatives had grown far beyond what any alien government suspected. Each agent maintained perfect cover identities while systematically gathering information about their host species. On the Arcturian homeworld, Agent Suman worked as a translator at their diplomatic center. Her official job involved converting communications between different alien languages, but she also had access to classified political intelligence and military planning documents. The Arcturians are definitely preparing for potential conflict with the Centaurians, she reported to Neon during their weekly communication session. They believe Centaurian expansion into the Vega system threatens their mining operations. How serious is the threat level? Neon asked. Both sides are moving military assets into position, Suman replied. Neither wants open war, but both are preparing for it. The situation could escalate quickly if something triggers an incident. Meanwhile, Operative Jiwon had achieved something remarkable. Working within the Council administration itself, he had gained access to classified assessments of all member species, including detailed military intelligence and strategic vulnerability analyses. Neon, you need to see this, Jiwon transmitted during an emergency communication session. I have accessed the Council's secret files on every member species, including their classified threat assessments and contingency plans. The data Jiwon provided was extraordinary. The Council maintained detailed intelligence on each member species, including their military capabilities, economic weaknesses, political instabilities, and potential for rebellion or aggression. Most shocking of all, they had contingency plans for suppressing or destroying any member species that became too dangerous. They have plans for neutralizing every species in the Council, Jiwon reported, except humans. Our file is almost empty. They list us as minimal threat, limited capabilities, no strategic concerns. Neon coordinated all the intelligence reports from human agents throughout the galaxy. Her analysis revealed patterns and connections that individual agents could not CF. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called with only 12 hours' notice. Chairman Vorthak stood at the center of the Great Hall, his blue skin showing signs of stress as representatives from dozens of species filed quickly into their seats. Council members, Vorthak announced, his voice tight with concern. We have been asked to convene this emergency session to address a highly unusual development regarding the Zephyrian territorial dispute. Councillor Brix of the Zephyrian Empire stood nervously at his delegation's podium. His tentacles twitched with agitation as he looked around the hall at the curious faces staring back at him. Honorable Chairman, Brix began, his voice shaking slightly. The Zephyrian Empire has decided to transfer control of all disputed border territories to human administrative authority. The hall erupted in shocked voices and confused chatter. Representatives turned to each other with expressions of disbelief. Chairman Vorthak raised his forearms for silence. Councillor Brix, Vorthak said slowly, perhaps you could explain this decision. The disputed territories contain valuable mining rights and strategic military positions. Why would your empire surrender them to a minor nuisance species? Before Brix could answer, Ambassador Seoyeon entered the hall through the human delegation entrance. She walked calmly to the center speaking area, carrying a simple data pad. Her expression was polite but confident. Honored council members, she said in clear galactic standard. If I may explain the situation, Chairman Vorthak gestured for her to continue, though his expression showed confusion and growing suspicion. 3 days ago, I met with the Zephyrian High Command to discuss a minor trade disagreement, Seoyeon began. During our conversation, I shared some information that I thought might be relevant to their strategic planning. What kind of information? Demanded Counselor Keleth from Arcturus. Her scales had shifted to bright red, showing alarm. Seoyeon touched her datapad, and a holographic display appeared above the center of the hall. It showed a detailed map of Zephyrian space with marked locations throughout their territory. I provided the Zephyrian leadership with a complete analysis of their military capabilities, economic infrastructure, and political organization, she said calmly. The holographic display zoomed in on specific locations. Military bases appeared with detailed layouts of their defenses. Industrial centers showed production capabilities and supply chains. Government facilities revealed communication networks and security protocols. This is classified military intelligence, stammered Counselor Brix. How could humans possibly have access to such detailed information? We have been observing and learning, Seoyeon replied simply. For example, your primary military command center on Zephyria 3 has 47 defensive turrets, arranged in a hexagonal pattern around a central bunker. The bunker contains your quantum communication array and your main tactical computer systems. She touched her datapad again, and the display showed internal layouts of the bunker, including ventilation systems, power supplies, and security checkpoints. Your quantum communication array operates on a rotating frequency pattern that cycles every 14 minutes and 37 seconds, she continued. The encryption keys are generated by a computer system that has a subtle programming flaw that allows external access through the maintenance protocols. Council members throughout the hall were staring at the display with growing horror. The level of detail was extraordinary. Not only did the humans know about Zephyrian military installations, they understood exactly how they worked and how they could be compromised. You also maintain 7 hidden supply depots for emergency military operations, Seoyeon continued. They are located here, here, and here. Red markers appeared on the display showing locations that were supposed to be highly classified secrets. How could you possibly know about those? Whispered Counselor Brix. We have been watching and learning, Seoyeon repeated. We know about your secret alliance negotiations with the Silvani Commonwealth. We know about your financial difficulties caused by the collapse of your tritium mining operations. We know about the political opposition movement that is planning to challenge your current government in next year's elections. The display changed to show economic data, political intelligence, and diplomatic communications. Every aspect of Zephyrian civilization was laid bare in perfect detail. Director Wu Jin entered the hall and joined Seoyeon at the center podium. He was a tall man with graying hair who carried himself with quiet authority. Honored council members, he said, perhaps I should provide some additional context. Earth has spent the past year conducting comprehensive analysis of all major galactic civilizations. He gestured to Seoyeon, who activated another holographic display. This one showed the entire galaxy with different colored regions representing different species territories. We have detailed intelligence assessments for every member species of this council, Director Wu Jin announced. Military capabilities, economic vulnerabilities, political instabilities, technological weaknesses, and strategic planning documents. The display zoomed in on Centaurian space. Detailed information appeared showing their defensive networks, supply lines, and military installations. The Centaurian planetary defense system has a critical vulnerability in its power distribution network, Wu Jin explained. A coordinated attack on 3 specific power stations would cause cascading failures throughout their entire shield grid. Chairman Vorthak's blue skin had turned pale. This is impossible. How could a minor nuisance species gather such detailed intelligence? By being consistently underestimated, replied Admiral Zhonghua as she entered the hall. She was a compact woman with sharp eyes who wore a simple uniform that bore no obvious rank insignia. For the past year, every species in this council has treated humans as harmless primitives, she continued. You have spoken freely around our traders and diplomats. You have shown us your technology and explained your strategies. You have shared classified information because you assumed we were too simple to understand its significance. The display changed again, showing a network of connections throughout the galaxy. Human agents were revealed to be working within alien governments, military organizations, and research facilities. We have observers embedded in every major alien civilization, Admiral Zhonghua explained. They have gathered intelligence on your capabilities, your weaknesses, your plans, and your secrets, all while maintaining perfect cover as simple traders, translators, and cultural ambassadors. Counselor Keyleth's scales had shifted to deep purple, showing fear and confusion. But why reveal this now? What do you want? Ambassador Seoyun stepped forward again. We want to prevent unnecessary conflicts and promote galactic stability. The Zephyrians were preparing for military action against the Centaurians over territorial disputes. Both sides were mobilizing forces that could have led to a destructive war. So you demonstrated your intelligence capabilities to convince them to surrender? Asked Chairman Vorthak. We demonstrated that we knew everything about their military capabilities, their strategic plans, and their internal weaknesses, Seoyun confirmed. We showed them that they could not hide any secrets from us. We also showed them that we could share this information with their enemies if we chose to do so. Director Wu Jin nodded. The Zephyrian leadership realized that continuing their territorial dispute would be pointless. How can you fight a war when your enemy knows all your plans before you make them? But humans are classified as a minor nuisance, protested Counselor Brix. You have limited military capabilities. Small space forces, primitive technology. Our technology is actually more advanced than yours in several key areas, Admiral Zhonghua replied. Our quantum computers are faster. Our materials science is superior. Our communication systems are more sophisticated. We simply chose not to reveal these capabilities while we gathered intelligence. The holographic display showed comparative technology assessments for different species. In many categories, human technology was rated as superior or equivalent to the supposedly more advanced alien civilizations. More importantly, Director Wu Jin added, we discovered that military technology alone does not determine victory in conflicts. Information determines victory. The species with the best intelligence always wins. And now you have the best intelligence in the galaxy, Chairman Vorthak said quietly. We have complete intelligence on every major species, confirmed Ambassador Seoyun. We know your capabilities, your plans, your weaknesses, and your secrets. We can predict your actions before you take them. We can exploit your vulnerabilities whenever we choose. The hall fell silent as the full implications became clear. The aliens had spent years dismissing humans as a primitive, harmless species while the humans systematically gathered intelligence on every aspect of alien civilization. What do you intend to do with this information? Asked Counselor Keyleth. Prevent conflicts like the one that was developing between the Zephyrians and Centaurians, Seoyun replied. Promote peaceful resolution of disputes. Encourage cooperation instead of competition. And if we refuse to cooperate? Asked Chairman Vorthak. Admiral Zhonghua smiled coldly. Then you would be making decisions based on incomplete information while we make decisions based on complete knowledge of your capabilities in I-6. Months had passed since the Emergency Council session that changed everything. The Great Hall looked different now. The human delegation section had been expanded and moved to a more prominent position. New communication equipment had been installed to handle the increased diplomatic traffic that flowed through Earth's representatives. Supreme Ambassador Haiyan walked slowly to the center speaking platform, carrying himself with the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needed to prove anything. The same aliens who had once looked at him with pity or contempt now watched him with careful respect. Counselor Melox, the new council chairman, called the session to order. The Sylvani leader had replaced Vorthak after the previous chairman resigned in shame, following the intelligence revelations. Melox's tree-like appearance seemed more humble than Vorthak's arrogant demeanor had ever been. Supreme Ambassador Hyun, Melox said formally, the Council recognizes Earth's request to address recent developments in galactic diplomatic relations. Haiyan nodded politely. Honorable Chairman Melox, esteemed Council members, I come before you today to discuss the progress we have made toward our shared goal of galactic peace and stability. The holographic display above the center of the hall activated, showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Green indicators showed peaceful regions. Yellow indicated areas of tension. Red marked active conflicts. 6 months ago, this map would have shown 17 separate territorial disputes, 12 trade conflicts, and 5 regions approaching open warfare, Haiyan explained. Today you can see that we have achieved peaceful resolution of most of these problems. The display changed to show specific examples. Former conflict zones now appeared in green, indicating stable peace agreements. The Zephyrian-Centaurian territorial dispute has been resolved through neutral arbitration, Hyan continued. The Arcturian-Sylvani trade war has ended with a mutually beneficial agreement. The military buildup in the Vega system has been replaced by cooperative research stations. Councillor Brix of the Zephyrians stood to speak. His nervous twitching from months ago had been replaced by calm acceptance. Supreme Ambassador Hyan speaks truth, Brix said. The resolution of our territorial dispute has brought unexpected benefits to both Zephyrian and Centaurian peoples. Trade between our species has increased by 40%. Joint military exercises have improved security for both civilizations. Similar testimonials came from other council members. Representatives who had once viewed humans with suspicion now spoke of the benefits of Earth's diplomatic interventions. How has this transformation been accomplished? Asked Councillor Keyleth from Arcturus. Her scales showed the blue color that indicated genuine curiosity rather than fear. Hyun gestured to Director Yuna, who had joined him at the central platform. She was a younger woman who carried herself with the confidence of someone managing vast amounts of complex information. The answer is simple, Director Yuna explained. We established the Galactic Transparency Initiative. Instead of using our intelligence capabilities to threaten or manipulate, we use them to prevent conflicts before they begin. The holographic display showed the organizational structure of the new initiative. Human analysis centers connected to alien governments throughout the galaxy, sharing information and providing strategic assessments. We provide early warning when tensions are developing between species, Yuna continued. We offer detailed analysis of economic and political factors that could lead to conflicts. Most importantly, we help different civilizations understand each other better. Could you provide a specific example? Asked Chairman Melox. Certainly, Yuna replied. Last month, our analysis indicated that the Denarian Federation was preparing military action against the Corvan Republic over disputed mining rights. Both sides believed the other was planning an attack. The display showed intelligence assessments from both civilizations. Each side had misinterpreted the other's defensive preparations as aggressive moves. We shared our analysis with both governments, Yuna explained. We showed them that neither side actually wanted a war. Both were simply responding to what they thought were threatening moves by the other. Once they understood the real situation, they agreed to peaceful negotiations. President Kyungmin entered the hall and joined the other human representatives. As Earth's elected leader, she represented the civilian government that oversaw the military and intelligence operations. The Galactic Transparency Initiative represents a new approach to interstellar relations, President Kyungmin announced. Instead of competing for advantage through secrecy and deception, we promote cooperation through shared understanding, she gestured to the display, which now showed communication networks connecting different alien civilizations. We have established permanent liaison offices on 43 worlds, she explained. These offices provide intelligence analysis, diplomatic mediation, and conflict prevention services to any species that requests them. What do you charge for these services? Asked a representative from the Corvan Republic. Nothing, President Kyungmin replied simply. Peace is profitable for everyone. Stable trade relationships benefit all species. Reduced military spending allows more resources for scientific research and economic development. The display changed to show economic data from across the galaxy. Trade volumes had increased significantly since the implementation of Earth's diplomatic initiatives. Military budgets had decreased as tensions reduced. Scientific cooperation had expanded dramatically. But surely Earth expects some benefit from these activities. Press Chairman Melloc Supreme Ambassador Hyan stepped forward again. Earth receives exactly the benefit we wanted from the beginning. Recognition as a valuable member of the galactic community, with full rights and responsibilities. Your classification has been upgraded far beyond what any species has achieved so quickly, observed Councillor Keyleth. Priority diplomatic partner status was created specifically for Earth. Because Earth has demonstrated capabilities that no other species possesses, replied Hyun. Not superior weapons or larger fleets, but superior understanding of how different civilizations think and operate. Director Yuna brought up another display showing the scope of human intelligence operations. Instead of hiding their capabilities, Earth now openly acknowledged the extent of their information-gathering activities. We maintain observation posts throughout the galaxy, she explained. We monitor communications, analyze economic trends, and track political developments. But now we share this information with the civilizations we are observing. You tell us what you have learned about our own societies? Asked Counselor Brix with surprise. We provide analysis and insights that help you understand yourselves better, Una confirmed. For example, our economic analysis helped the Zephyrian Empire identify inefficiencies in their resource distribution that were causing internal political tensions. Our political analysis helped the Centaurians recognize that their expansion policies were creating unnecessary conflicts with neighboring species, added President Kyung-min. Our military analysis helped several species identify vulnerabilities in their defense systems and improve their security, said Admiral Zhonghua, who had also joined the group at the center platform. The alien representatives looked at each other with expressions of amazement. The humans were not only revealing the extent of their intelligence capabilities, but offering to use those capabilities to help other species improve themselves. This is unprecedented in galactic history, Chairman Melox observed. No species has ever voluntarily shared strategic intelligence with potential rivals. Because we do not view other species as rivals, explained Supreme Ambassador Hyan. We view them as partners in building a more stable and prosperous galaxy. He gestured to the holographic display, which now showed a timeline of galactic conflicts over the past 1,000 years. For millennia, interstellar relations have been based on competition, suspicion, and conflict, he said. Species hoard information, build larger militaries, and prepare for wars with their neighbors. The result has been endless cycles of conflict and mistrust. Earth proposes a different approach, President Kyung-min added. Instead of competing for advantage, we share information that helps everyone succeed. Instead of preparing for war, we work together to prevent conflicts from developing. And if some species chooses not to participate in this cooperation? Asked a representative from one of the smaller alien civilizations. Admiral Zhonghua smiled. Then they would find themselves at a significant disadvantage. Our intelligence capabilities give us complete understanding of any species that chooses confrontation over cooperation. We can predict their strategies, exploit their weaknesses, and counter their moves before they make them. But we prefer to avoid such situations, Hyan added quickly. It is better for everyone when conflicts are prevented rather than won. The display changed one final time, showing projections for the future of galactic civilization. Trade continued to expand. Scientific cooperation accelerated technological development. Military conflicts decreased to minimal levels. This is our vision for the future, President Kyung-min announced. Galantin,